moderately snowy morning in Albuquerque. We are 1 million cups, caffeinating entrepreneurs nationwide every Wednesday. So we're supported by the Kauffman Foundation. And the idea is if we could just get entrepreneurs together to share coffee and ideas and talk about their mutual interests, everything could move forward a bit. So we're about connection, presentation, and education. Here we go. Our mission is to lower the barrier of access to entrepreneurship by providing resources and connection for new and aspiring entrepreneurs. And the idea is to make this as friendly to entrepreneurs as possible and try to keep out the folks that prey on entrepreneurs and just want to provide business services. So try to keep it at least 50 to 70% entrepreneurs, and we can all just share the pain together. So how do we do that? We have a consistent program, and what that means is if you travel to any location where 1 million cups is being held, and there are almost 200 locations across the United States where 1 million cups is being held, you'll find pretty much the same format, the same training for the organizers, and the same atmosphere for entrepreneurs. So that is imposed on a bunch of communities that differ from each other quite greatly. And I've been to Million Cups in now 6 different locations, if we count Albuquerque. And the local culture is always interesting, but the Million Cups format is obvious whenever you drop in anywhere across the country. So here is our Southwest Community region. We are the only folks operating in New Mexico, but our regional coach tells us we are among the top organizations in this region, and we're very proud of that accomplishment. But certainly, if you present here, you're welcome in any one of those other locations. So how does it work, right? So the first thing is we have presentations, not pitches. And in a pitch, as you know, your company is invulnerable. It has all these unassailable assets. You wake up bright and confident every morning, and you're going to take over the world. That's a pitch to investors. Actual entrepreneurs know that behind the facade, things are a little bit different. You have struggles every day. You have challenges that you're not personally capable of meeting, and you need to connect to members of the community that can either provide new team members or can provide you with advice on your entrepreneurial journey. So that's why we talk about authentic connections and not networking. This is not a place to just pass your business cards out and move on. This is a place to either help others if you're in a position to do so, or to ask for help if that's what you need. It's run for the community, by the community. All of our organizers are volunteers, and our sponsors donate things that make it move. And we are radically and intentionally inclusive. That involves reaching out for a course correction from our regional director every once in a while, and trying to do things that are harder for us, like reaching out to conventional small businesses instead of just the startups that we tend to focus on, and making sure that we're racially and culturally inclusive. Okay, how can you present? It's easy if you have a for-profit business, and that is defined as a company that's 5 years or less in age that has sold something to somebody who's not a family member. So if you've started a company and you've sold something to someone who's not your mom, you're eligible to present, and we'll provide you with coaches and ease you into the 1 million cups format. And I hope you'll be able to make authentic connections here. This is our organizing team. I'm Paul Stotter, Chief Scientific Officer at Equiseek. We have Lisa Atkins at Fat Pipe, the place where we used to physically meet back in the old days. Eric Renz-Whitmore, Bob C. Sanandale, Adam Sparks-Brechtel, and Sonia Dewing. This is a great, great team. And if you sign on to pitch, I'm sure you'll find that's the case. We'd like to also thank our sponsors, Fat Pipe, our wonderful physical location back in the old days, and we look forward, once we're vaccinated, to meeting there again. Loza and Loza, intellectual property attorneys. So if you have patents, trademarks, copyrights, that kind of thing, they are your folks. More Than Organized, helping you to organize your thinking and your physical space. Jason Collins Photography, making us look good even in the low res space of Zoom. And Noventum Custom Software Development, would we were physically meeting because they provide donuts. So thanks to all our sponsors, and we look forward to getting back to meeting in person once again. And with that, I'm going to stop sharing, and we're going to give people an opportunity to introduce themselves. So feel free to introduce yourselves in the chat, drop your name, what you do, a link to your company. And we'd also like to give 3 people an opportunity to introduce themselves Zoom to Zoom right now. Just raise your hand or unmute yourself. Say who you are. Go ahead. Say who you are and say hi. Go ahead, Ben.
Hi, everybody. My name is Ben. I'm the creator of the Beanie Sleeper. The Beanie Sleeper is a head wrap with a built-in contoured sleep mask that is used for sleep, migraine relief, and to help people going through chemotherapy feel a little bit better. I'm really happy to be here. Thank you so much.
All right, somebody else, don't be shy. Entrepreneurship is about stepping forward when that door opens, even just a crack.
Hey,
right,
go
ahead.
My name is Matt Gretton. I'm the founder of Matt's Mushroom Farm, and I grow mushrooms in the Los Ranchos, Albuquerque area. Yeah.
Thank you, Matt. He's a fun guy.
Oh, right. That was terrible.
Right. Okay, one more or I'll drop some more jokes. Come on, somebody don't be shy. Shawn, you're exempt because you're the presenter.
I use that one all the time, so I had to.
All right, don't make me call on somebody.
Well, I'll go.
Go ahead.
I always jump up. Miriam Ortiz-Pino. I'm a certified professional organizer and a certified money breakthrough business coach. And they work together really nicely because mindset and money is how you do everything. So if you can control one, you can control your stuff and your money, and hopefully set your workspace up to do your best work. That's what I do.
Thank you, Miriam. So, I was about to hand it off to Adam, but he has run off to secure something. So I'm just going to kill time by saying Adam is the coach for our presenter.
Hello, this is John.
Oh, go ahead.
Hi, John Moore, and I'm an independent contractor specializing in business development and destination marketing, and a longtime fan of this meetup. It's been a great hunting ground, if you will, for me, in that I've met many entrepreneurs here, and it allows me to listen to what they do and where they need help, and pick and choose the people that I feel I can be the most benefit of. And thanks for all of you organizers. There's a star up there or two for you guys, and good stuff. Thanks. I always say this is the best adult entertainment in town.
Thank you, John. All right, I'm going to hand it off to Adam, who will introduce our presenter for today.
Thanks, Paul. So Shawn Navin has been coming to 1 Million Cups basically since he started his new company. He's actually presented before. He presented for PHS, Proud, which is Public Health Services, which is a uniform service from the government that he used to be part of. So he's already presented before, but I encouraged him to do that one first and then come back here during Christmas time to talk about diabetes and how to take care of that. So Shawn, we're looking forward to hearing about great ways to make our holidays healthy.
All right, love it. I'm going to share my screen here. And can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, thanks for having me. My name is Shawn Navin. The 1 Million Cups crew invited me because they were concerned about everybody during the pandemic, maybe getting a little carried away with the snack. They thought I could come in and crack the whip a little bit on everybody. So I'm here to talk about my company, Diabetes Reversal Now, which is a diabetes coaching service that I provide where I help people reverse their prediabetes, type 2 diabetes, so that they can have a healthy future with their loved ones. So I want to talk about my company and how it started. Before I do, I want to lay the groundwork a little bit about what diabetes is and why it's a problem. Essentially, the problem I'm trying to hack away at. And this isn't meant to be a medical lecture, but I do want to just point out a couple facts that I think are important for everybody to understand. So diabetes, just really quickly, everybody probably knows somebody with diabetes. It's very prevalent, as I'll mention here in just a second. But diabetes has two types. There's type 1 and then there's type 2 diabetes. Most of what I'm talking about is type 2 diabetes. But diabetes is a condition where your body, for various reasons, cannot make a hormone called insulin or use it appropriately in your body. And this is a problem because insulin helps us normalize our blood sugar. So we all have sugar or glucose in our blood. And if you can't utilize insulin normally, your blood sugar goes up, and that leads to a lot of issues. And so that's, again, just a very general description of diabetes. And so diabetes in the early 60s, I think this graph just kind of tells it all. In the early 60s, we had about a 1% prevalence in our population. And now this graph from the CDC only goes to 2015, but now in 2020, we're looking at a prevalence of over 10% in the US population. So diabetes has really been exploding for the past couple of decades. And another mind-blowing statistic is that nearly half of American adults have either type 2 diabetes or its precursor prediabetes. And some studies even suggest more than 50%. And it probably is, honestly, given how much it's spreading at the moment. So more than half of American adults have type 2 diabetes or prediabetes. It's just insane. So not to mention the global population of diabetics has quadrupled since 1980. So in the early 1980s, there's about 100 million people in the world who have diabetes. Now that's over 415 million people worldwide. So that's way more than the total number of people living in the US. So if you could imagine the amount of people in the globe with diabetes, that equals the population of the United States. So if you could imagine everybody in the United States having diabetes, that's how many people there are in the world with diabetes right now. So it's just been exploding around the world. And one interesting point to know is that type 2 diabetes can actually start 20 years before you get the diagnosis. So 20 years. So when I hear people say, and quite honestly, I would hear this all the time growing up from my family, and we all say this, right? Food is a social thing. We enjoy eating. It's part of our everyday lives. We need to acknowledge that. But hearing things like, you can tolerate it. You're young. You can eat what you want. You can burn it off. You can handle it. Eat up is honestly just pure garbage, because 20 years, it's like investing. I mean, you have to start. This thing starts way before you even know, and then flash forward 20 years into the future, then you have a huge problem. I mean, in investing, it's a good thing, but in your diet, it's not a good thing. So in 20 years from now, the decisions you make now, I don't care if you're 15, 18 years old, 20, it matters, because it can pop up 10 to 20 years from when you start certain behaviors. So, and just one more thing, we just can't afford this disease. It's estimated that 1 in 4 healthcare dollars are spent on somebody with diabetes, and this is in the United States. So the way that it's spreading and the expected amount of people that are going to develop type 2 diabetes, we just honestly can't afford this as a country, and our healthcare system definitely can't keep spending the money that it has been. So we just can't afford it. So there's a lot of people have it. It's expensive. So still, you might be asking, who cares? So you don't want diabetes. When I was working in the traditional healthcare system, I've seen all of these things. And what really stuck with me is that I came across a lot of people that would say, I used to be like you, and I can tell you take care of yourself. Keep doing that. I didn't. And, now they are in a wheelchair and have to go to dialysis every, 3 days out of the week for half the day each day because their kidneys don't work. Or, diabetes can lead to leg amputations, toe amputations, because you can't fight off simple infections. It's a leading cause of heart attacks and strokes, and also a leading cause of blindness. So you don't want diabetes, and again, food, which is a major contributor to diabetes. Again, we enjoy it. It's a social thing. There are smart ways to go about it, and it's all fun and games until it's not. And so you don't want to get to that point that a lot of people are going towards. Again, 50% of American adults are on this track. So I was a pharmacist in a federal uniform service, and this is a little bit different. I would say a lot different from actually from, like a pharmacist you may think of at CVS or Walgreens, or, even at a hospital like Presbyterian, in that in the federal healthcare system, pharmacists have the privilege of doing much more as far as working with patients directly with their condition. So it's not just, I was a pill pusher, but also worked very closely in the clinic with patients to help manage their medications, get them on all the medications that are recommended for somebody with type 2 diabetes, helping with their blood pressure, their statins for cholesterol, and titrating their insulin to get their blood sugar under control. And so I had the privilege of doing that, and that was great. But I kept on getting a question from patients, which was, Shawn, is this it? Do I have to keep taking medications for the rest of my life? And initially, I thought that was the case. You learn that in school for chronic diseases. You need to be taking medications your entire life. But this question kept coming up, and I kept looking for answers because I cared about the people I was taking care of. And I just really started to see a different story, not only in my own research, but I just didn't see that people were getting help for their type 2 diabetes. The first line treatment for this disease is lifestyle intervention, but that in our traditional healthcare system, that just never really happens because it's just not incentivized financially, honestly. So I saw a gap and just felt like I could have more of an impact with patients in a different way. And I just don't think that pills are going to do it. They have their role and are powerful tools, but I felt like I could have more of an impact by helping people implement those lifestyle changes that could change the trajectory of their life, honestly. So that's where I created Diabetes Reversal Now. So Diabetes Reversal Now is a virtual coaching service that provides weekly health coaching focused on diabetes for 8 weeks. So each week I meet with clients virtually to discuss the program that they're in. It's a transformation program for 8 weeks that they go through. And each week there's a different lesson or module that, I might record a video, they watch to get some education, to have homework to do. That might be learning how to cook. Some people don't know how to chop an onion. It might be how to read a food label or go grocery shopping, whatever that is, they go through that. And then each week we touch base and I provide that one-on-one coaching to guide them through so that they can achieve their health goals. So this was virtual, and I was planning on doing this even before. I was planning on doing it virtual even before COVID hit, and it just it didn't change too much of what my original plan was. So again, it's all virtual, one-on-one, and it's private pay, no insurance for the one-on-one coaching service. So that's the general model. So current challenges is just differentiating myself from competition. There's a lot of health coaches and diabetes coaches out there. So just researching that competition and trying to find my voice, how I'm different from those people. And so that's been a fun challenge, a journey. And then also a challenge I've noticed is just staying in the diabetes lane. I do a lot of marketing on social media. And so I still get people asking a lot about fitness and weight loss tips as far as content goes. So sometimes I have to say, okay, like that's not really my area of focus, and just say like, hey, I'll recommend you go somewhere else because I'm focused on diabetes. Of course, weight loss is critical for diabetes for most people. There's overlap, but there are differences for sure. So Diabetes Reversal Now, I provide that one-on-one diabetes coaching so that people can reverse their condition. That means getting normal blood sugar without medication, so that they can have a healthy future with their loved ones. So I hope, if anything that I've talked about makes you think of a family member or friend who's struggling and who does want to make a change, who is motivated, who wants an answer, but just doesn't know what to do, I recommend that you send them my way and just see if some of the things I talk about resonates with them. If so, then we can have a conversation about how I might be able to help. And so I welcome any questions, and thank you so much for having me today. Sorry, Adam, I went way over.
Well, thank you for that, for the presentation. So if anyone has questions, okay, we got one already, but you can post them in the chat over here on the side, and then Mr. Shawn will take them. All right, so we've got Miriam is the first one who piped up here as a go-getter she is. Are you ready, Miriam?
I am. Hi, Shawn. I just heard a few things that I actually know how to deal with. So staying in your lane, so hard, especially when you have something that there's a lot of visual competition about. And I think really sticking with the diabetes is really going to help you differentiate yourself and actually be able to make more money in the long run. You might want to look at how to pick good niches that will help you find that. I mean, it's already niched, but how do you reach out to that niche? Also, you might want to develop some sort of signature program that you walk people through step by step. It makes it easier to talk to the people when you do your messaging and stuff. And I'm happy to talk to you more about how to do that as well. But I think those two things, and then using packaging the service as a flat fee type situation is going to get you a better result than I'm available for an hour or so.
For sure. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. That's what I do. I don't do like 1 hour consultation for like $50. It's 2 months, $2,000 for that service.
Yeah.
A flat. Yeah. Because again, it's going to be a disservice if I just do one. Even if you do 1 month or anything less than 2, you're just not going to get the benefit. I don't want to take your money. So.
Yeah, we might want to look at extending that even so it's maybe a 3-month to 6-month.
I agree. I'm still meddling with it. I tried doing 3 for a little bit, and then I went down to 2 with the thought that 3 might be more of a commitment for people financially and time wise. So start with 2, and then almost from the start kind of say like, hey, maybe tacking on another month might be helpful for just that additional accountability and support. Especially, I have a lot of from the get-go, my clients are in touch with their doctor and let them know what they're doing. And then they usually will get baseline labs, and one of the labs that we want to look at takes 3 months. So right, it makes sense to do the 3 month.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to give them what they need by selling what they want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Miriam. I guess I'll let you pass on introducing your company when you mentioned your name, because we mentioned you at the beginning. All right. Thanks for that. Paul?
Hi, I'm Paul Stotter, founder and chief scientific officer of Equiseek. We develop and sell genetic tests for horses. See, so now Adam's happy. So
That's
Shawn, I tried typing diabetes reversal now into Google, and I don't even get your website in the top hits, right?
Yeah.
So this is, and I have to enter the website directly. So this is, I mean, it's a problem that I've encountered as well. The signal to noise ratio in diabetes on the web is insane.
For sure.
So it's not really a question. It's just that every once in a while we get into, is this or that supplement going to address this condition in horses? And as soon as you go into supplement space, it's almost all garbage. So, people who know how to do search engine optimization, but there's absolutely nothing behind what they're pushing. So yep. It's really a challenge for you in diabetes because it's such a big problem and so many people are fighting. How are you going to get through the signal to noise ratio? What is your niche, as Miriam suggests, to get a little bit more recognition in search engines?
Yeah, I honestly just changed the name. I had a different name, which my email reflects, and I literally published the website a couple days ago with the new name and transferred it over. So, but I mean, but even with that, I focus a lot on right now creating content via my blogs to create that SEO. That's a big thing, and I really try right now, again, just developing my message. And really my message that I'm developing right now is, I'm not about managing. I want to challenge people to reverse their condition, which is totally doable without the supplements and without a gym membership. So that's kind of my message that I'm trying to send, and in finding creative ways to do that. So, but I hear you on the Google, but yeah, I just published a couple days ago. So 2 days ago. Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Paul. All right, Jim, who you are and what's your question? Mortensen.
I'm Jim Mortensen. I'm a Chief Technology Officer and currently consultant, helping small and mid-sized businesses with their technology strategy and resources. So Shawn, thanks for the presentation. Like most people, I have members of my family that are impacted by diabetes and of various types. Question regarding insurance. You said that your current model, you don't self-pay, not insurance covered. It seems that insurance is more and more looking at the total cost of some of these expensive illnesses and are doing more or covering preventative care. Can you talk a little bit about, despite what your current model is, are you seeing that different insurances, and particularly I would assume that it would start with HMOs, covering preventative or reversal care as a cost-saving mechanism? Where's that going from your perspective?
From what I've seen from some of the online tech companies, they create their value a lot with decreasing costs in prescription medications. And of course, diabetes, that's a huge portion of diabetes costs are the medications themselves. We've all seen the headlines with skyrocketing insulin costs. So that's where I've seen in the online world, virtual telehealth world, they kind of pitch the value there. And then as far as preventing or improving outcomes, say cost-saving measures by improving, maybe repeat visits to the hospital or their primary care doctor. I don't know enough to speak on it, honestly, Jim. But I mean, I know with Obamacare, that's been more, or the Affordable Care Act, that's been more the direction that healthcare is going. When I was in the traditional health system, again, I just looking behind the curtain, just didn't see that being a viable option anytime soon, and that's why I decided to go online with this approach.
I heard a comment that from multiple doctors that I found interesting is when asked about why they seem to push medication as the easy solution for just about anything, not diabetes in particular. The answer was the same from two doctors that I heard, is that, well, patients don't listen to any advice about changing their lifestyle, so they just want to be fixed. So I give them the medicine because by and large, patients don't listen to advice on changing their lifestyle. Yeah,
there's truth in that. As much as 80% of people actually try lifestyle intervention. So that's an indication that people do want to. It's kind of like smoking, like 70% of people want to quit smoking. They just don't know how to do it or don't have the resources to do it. And the reality is it takes time because these things don't just require a pill or medication. You can't just take a nicotine patch and quit smoking for the most part. You can't just take some shots of insulin and definitely not with insulin, reverse your diabetes. So there are pieces missing, which a lot of it is just time and that attention that people need to make lifestyle changes, which is really tough in our maze of grocery store and just how our society is set up. So the healthcare system is it's not incentivized to do that. And another thing I hear from doctors, and I experience all the time too, is who has time? You have 15, 20 minutes to meet with a patient. They have 10 medications that are expired that need a prescription, and you didn't even get to the wheelchair that they need. So I hear this a lot, which is a frustrating part. It's like, well, we don't have time. And when I hear that, I'm like, well, what's the time allocated for? It's for more pills, more supplies, but it's not towards getting the patient better. So it just doesn't add up to me, or that doesn't make sense. And I understand it. Again, it's just that's where the money is going. So this is my attempt to provide that service to people that are looking for that other option. But again, it's a time aspect. Doctors don't have time. They have 15, 20 minutes to talk to somebody. They don't have time to talk about how to cook and how to lose weight without, doing some liquid juice diet or something like that. So.
Cool. Thanks. And Ben?
Yeah. Hi, Shawn, you're a doctor?
I'm a pharmacist.
Oh, okay, because it says but is that a doctor? Because you have Dr. Navin transformation.
He's both.
Yeah.
You're both. You have a doctor. Okay.
Yeah, I have a farm.
Just a couple things. You spent, I'm going to say 95% of this on what is diabetes and how horrible it is. And I absolutely know nothing about what you do or your program or what it involves. I want to think about that. The other thing is, your name, Diabetes Reversal Now, is just really long. I mean, I would call yourself drreversal.com. I checked it out. It's available. You want it? Because it's more interesting.
I just bought it. It's not
the other
available.
thing is, what'd you say?
I just bought it. It's not available. Just kidding.
Oh, damn. I almost did that.
Off me.
But the other thing is, if I were you, I would pick a lane. You're most effective if somebody's already type 2 diabetes.
Sure.
You're already, that's where your life is. If you do pre or early or this or that, I don't think you're going to be effective, because you are competing with nutritionists, period. You're competing with personal trainers. You're competing with all of this, and your space, your niche is type 2 diabetes. I mean, the other thing is, I'm just loaded with comments today. The other thing is, I really think you need to add a monthly meeting with these people. I think 1 month and drop or 2 months and we're done isn't going to cut it. There's a reason why Weight Watchers works, as opposed to Nutrisystem, right? It's that weekly meeting or the monthly meeting. It's the place to go. It's a very 12-step kind of attitude. Some place to go to, somebody to check in with. Just something, and also a great book, The Pumpkin Plan by Mike Miklowitz. It's incredible. So I guess I really didn't have any questions.
No, point taken.
But honestly, I think it's great what you're doing. It's just you really got to focus, really super focused.
Okay.
Thanks, Ben. Annie, your name, your company, and your question. You ready?
Yeah, hang on. Shawn, I was going to ask you, have you been trending kind of your success factor, the data analytics on this?
You didn't get your company in there.
I'm sorry. My name is Annie Irizarry, CEO and founder of Core Community Housing.
Thanks.
I'm kind of curious to understand your data analytics and trending on this, if you will. Have you been trending anything at all for kind of what you're doing and the patterns? Because sometimes that speaks a story, if you will, even early on, right? As far as you may not have much at this point, but at least it gives you a clue as to, okay, this is working and I need to tweak it this way, or this is not working and I need to go in a different direction, or, okay, this is working so far and I'll keep working this part and maybe I need to pivot incrementally this way. It's just, I'm always interested in the data part because that always tells you a story of some sort, good or bad or otherwise. You know what I'm saying, Shawn? That's always an indicator. It doesn't tell you whether you're successful or not, but at the very least, it's an indicator early in the game late in the game, somewhere in the middle. You know what I mean, Shawn? Have you done anything like that at all?
So my analytics, two areas that come to mind, well, three, but two more, I think, useful ones. The first has been just for my social media marketing, like what's resonating with people and getting people to reach out to me personally, like actually message me regarding their diabetes. So measuring, just getting the numbers on like how many people actually were paying attention to a certain video or post that I provided, and then how many people reached out to me at that time, and then how many sales calls did I get during this month, and what were the So what I've really been focusing on for lead generation is, okay, I got a bunch of leads this week or this month, and then what was I doing at that point that maybe triggered people to reach out to me? Was there a certain message that I was saying that made people reach out to me? And then if there's radio silence, like, okay, is there something that I'm doing that, that isn't as effective? People really like to hear about fitness. I've learned fasting is an important hot topic in the health space right now. And then just asking people who have diabetes and thinking about my patients, their pain points, their points of frustration. I just create posts that address those things, and those things have garnered attention and interest. So I would say the social media analytics that are provided on your page have been a helpful guide. That's where I've gotten most of my traction, is organic on social media. My website, I had a website that I created myself before, and then I had Google Analytics on that later. I didn't have that initially. So I've been following that, and now I just changed my website. So I'm going to refocus on that and see if that provides.
Yeah, how that goes, right? There's, even to Ben's point, and Ben mentioned it, even like a weekly meeting or a monthly meeting or bi-weekly meeting, that will give you kind of an indication. Okay, I had 10 people this week, 20 people next week, or 3 people, whatever the numbers are, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it gives you a trending analysis. And if you capture that information, they're data points.
Sure.
Whether they're right, whether they're wrong, it gives you a trending point, and you can capture that information it tells a story, right? That's all it does, is it gives you a storyline and then even right at that point, you may share stories from other people. You may be sharing menus or recipes or something that other people are experiencing and sharing their experiences, and they're telling a story. I mean, it's a great way to share other people's experiences and hopes, and their type 2 diabetes. This worked for me, this didn't work, or it's neutral, it's whatever, right? Yeah.
Thanks, Annie.
Yeah, thanks.
We've got.
I hear you.
We've got 2 more questions from the audience, and then we have our 2 questions, and then we'll go out to breakout rooms, so people can think about breakout rooms. Sonia, which rooms do we have available?
We have the COVID room, and we have a room where you guys can talk to Shawn and get to ask him more questions or help him out.
Miriam mentioned something about an outreach and enrollment conversation. I don't know what that's about, but that's an idea.
It was in response to what Annie was saying, and Shawn's response about you have to outreach to people, and then you have to have a conversation with them to get them to join your program. And
which is a great lead in to Hannah's question. Hannah, are you ready? Thanks, Miriam.
Yeah. Although if you guys hear some noise, the Roomba is having issues. So I wanted to ask about your clientele base and how it is that you're trying to reach them. You just spoke a bit about it. I didn't introduce myself. I'm new. So I'm Hannah. I'm an independent contractor that does user experience research, specifically using human-centered research to give insight to businesses on how to meet and exceed your customers' expectations effectively. So my question is really based on how are you creating your market audience? Do you have an idea of who specifically you're trying to address and where you can find them? Because it's going to look completely different, your approach for reaching out to them, if you are going for people who, for example, people who shop at Sprouts versus people who shop at Walmart 90% of the time. So you kind of have to think about where your audience is. And I personally haven't seen a clear description of that. So I'm curious what your thoughts are there.
Yeah. And this is another thing that I'm developing as a young budding business, is just finding out, okay, who's my message resonating with? Who is my ideal customer? My first couple customers were somewhat, there's some similarities and differences that that are interesting, but my ideal customer at this moment I would describe as, you know, somebody who's 40 to 65, higher income, who's really in tune with, or who is motivated and just diagnosed with prediabetes and type 2 diabetes. My customers have been in those situations where they just diagnosed and they saw my content on social media, and reached out to me. So, and they both happen to be in the healthcare space. So that was interesting. So, so my ideal customers, I'm still kind of whittling down, but they seem to kind of be falling into that space. And, you know, some of them might be at Sprouts and the other would be at Walmart, honestly. So I'm definitely still honing that in, which is going to inform my marketing strategy. My marketing strategy has been primarily through social media, through Facebook. And that's where I've gotten my clients. I've done local, I've reached out to just getting a presence on some podcasts in the healthcare space, and then also local radio here in Albuquerque, which I'm considering doing some local advertising. But the bang for your buck on social media is a little bit much better, honestly. So my primary, just to kind of summarize, primary strategy has been through social media, on Facebook, and then reaching out to podcasts and radio to get my name out there.
Cool. Chadwick? Clifton?
Hi, this is Clifton Chadwick with Comunicaciones Cocopelli. And the thought that just
Clifton, you're cutting out a little bit.
all right, let me try to go a little slower. Can you hear me well?
Yeah.
As Hannah remarked, you want to solve people's problems. And as you just remarked, you have these recently diagnosed folks. And maybe I missed it, but does your marketing include outreach to the people who make those diagnoses? In terms of solving problems, your capacity to help doctors help their patients is important. And marketing to doctors is going to get you a lot of patients rather than doing all that marketing and trying to determine whether they're at Sprouts or at Walmart. They're all at Press, for example. So yeah. Just wanted to throw that idea at.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that slipped my mind, but I've been reaching out to local Albuquerque private practices that tend to be more cash pay. So again, looking for that audience, that market of people that are willing to pay for their own health services outside of insurance. And so, you know, I've been trying to, been reaching out and offering education to those practices so that I can let them know, give them some education on something that's relevant to them, and then say, hey, if you have patients, which you do, with this problem, then I could be somebody who could be of service. So that's been tough because I want to go in and show my face and shake people's hands and stuff. So that has been one hiccup that the pandemic has provided, but still just phone and email and personal referrals have been doing okay.
You might do a direct mail postcard campaign. Just, all of this high-tech stuff is great, but, a well-designed postcard that targets Dr. So-and-so that says, are you looking for solutions for your patients with diabetes? et cetera, and then maybe use the postcard to direct them to some of your social media and
Okay.
conversations.
I like it. Thanks, Clifton.
Excellent. So we can have more conversation with Shawn in the breakout rooms. But before we go, Shawn, what is it, red or green?
It's for me, it's green. The wife likes red. Together we're Christmas.
Aw. And then how can this community help you?
I am curious about doing B2B service and offering telehealth. And I'm curious if anybody knows somebody who is well versed in the mechanics of telehealth billing and getting that set up. So if anybody knows somebody in that space who could be a biller or has provided that service in New Mexico, because New Mexico has some interesting rules regarding telehealth versus other states, I'd love to connect with that person or just have a friendly referral. So
cool. And your contact information is in the chat as well for anyone who wants to just copy it. So next up is events. And then I forgot who's doing events.
I'm doing events since Eric's not here today, although he was kind enough to send a nice long email with a lot of events in it. I'm going to cover them pretty quickly here. So first of all, the Rail Yards Market is currently happening now through the December 10th, and I am going to copy the link. I think how they're doing it is basically you order online and you can drive by and pick it up kind of thing. So I am pasting that in the comments. Let's see what else we have. We also have, let's see,
Anya,
tomorrow.
You sent that to me as a direct message. I think you need to change it. But thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. There we go. Thank you. All right. So tomorrow, eShip Rio Grande is having a meeting talking about reimagining the New Mexico food economy. That is 2 to 5 p.m. And I am pasting the link for that. Okay, next up is AGDG Remote, 6:30 to 9 p.m. AGDG will be using Discord's voice channel and streaming features to host demos, socializing, and gaming. This will give everyone a safe way to share their projects and keep our community engaged. Does anyone know what AGDG is?
Yes, it's
yeah.
It's animation for gaming. So it means something like that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. And then Wednesday, oh, that was yesterday's events. I am so sorry. Ignore those last two events that I just shared. So sorry, because today is 1 million cups. Tomorrow, Thursday, is the Kick-Ass Entrepreneurs of Santa Fe from 6 to 7:30. And the story is hang time, shit happens. So true. All right. So I'm sharing that link, which that should be an interesting event to attend virtually. Friday, 9 to 10 a.m. is Adam's Friday Flow. Are wants more important than needs? Tell us a little bit about it, Adam.
Thanks. There's a discussion about wants and needs we often talk about. And so what I do is I just explore an idea with people and it's just an open discussion. People come and go. So it'll be pretty nice.
Okay. Also on Friday is Activate New Mexico Office Mentor Hours. If you want to talk to someone about your startup, maybe you haven't even started it yet, and you just want to talk to someone, it's a good opportunity to talk to other people who know about startups and can help you get the right direction for resources. So just shared that link. That is Friday, 1 to 3 p.m. Q Lab is having a potluck online. If you've never been to Q Lab, it's like a community workshop space, right? Which I'm sure they haven't been able to have anything in person. They're a small space, but I am sharing that. It's like a small version of Dovetail Community Workshop kind of place. All right, so Monday the 7th is Code for Albuquerque, 6 to 7 p.m. And it's all about, can local tech talent make a difference in helping our local civil society? Join the local chapter of Code for America and seek projects and ways to improve our community. And let's see, I'll pick out one more thing from this list. And if you haven't told Lisa what room you want to go to, make sure to put that in the comments. There's an ABQ art walk coming up on First Friday. There's not a lot of information on that. Okay, but next week, right, we have 1 Million Cups again at 9 a.m. On the 23rd, just remember there is no 1 Million Cups on the 23rd. We are actually taking a break. I think that's the only break we have taken this whole year. And on the 30th, we will have a special series of sessions that you can attend. One of those is going to be with Miriam, who's going to talk about goal setting. Another one is going to be with Eric Rins-Whitmore about creative design, I think. I'll have to look that up, but we'll share the list, and there will be some other sessions as well that you can join. So we'll be doing that on the 30th, and I think that's it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Time for
Paul,
big
is there
wins.
anything else?
Time for
big
big
wins.
wins.
Go
All
for
right,
it.
and yeah, one more event. New Mexico Time Travelers Association will be meeting on January 1st of 2020, and you know where. Okay, so here's the big wins. No one got that. It's time for big wins. So we need 3 people with big wins this week, and I'd like to kick it off. We've been working on this one for a while. We've added 2 new genetic tests to our panel last October, but this week our collaborators and licensees in Europe have added it to the European horse test panel. So we have now licensed 2 new genetic tests, and they're now available publicly for customers in the EU and the UK. That's our big win. Let's hear 2 more.
Phil Wilton here. I finally got my transcript of my book into my publisher, been accepted, and we're going through the first of 3 phases of edit and proofreading. And the book has finally ended up with a title called 5 Moves to Checkmate, Building Your New Competitive Strategy.
Playing off the chess craze. That's great.
All right, one more. Come on, somebody with a win.
Well, I got my video up for the Oxfam fundraiser thing that I mentioned last week. So I had the opportunity to work with Oxfam and do a whole month-long promotion for their national fundraiser, all about regifting. So it's going to have an impact on the environment and clutter and feeding America. So it's great.
Do you have a link for that?
I'll share. Hey, Adam.
You can see the in the chat. I put my Facebook page. The video is posted there right now. I have to kind of roll it out at various levels. So it's on Facebook right now.
Sorry, I was going to jump in with one more quick win, Paul, if that's okay. I'm JJ with the Albuquerque Hispano Chamber. We actually won a huge grant at the Albuquerque Hispano Chamber with Be Well, New Mexico. A few million, so we're pretty excited about that, and that's going to be huge for the community, and I can share more next time about that. So, and Shawn, might be something to talk about, a huge partner with us now in regards to something you talked about.
That's fantastic. Congratulations, everyone.
What's a good way to reach out to you, JJ?
Yeah. Breakout rooms are ready.
Yeah, I'll be in your breakout room and I'll give you some information.